Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us yet again in the Knowledge Arena for our Innovators in Action panel. This is going to be a very exciting 60 minutes because you will be hearing from the three finalists of our APAC Travel Buyer of the Year award. They'll be sharing their innovations with you. So I would like to invite my esteemed finalists up on the stage to join me. And as they do, please allow me to go through our housekeeping notes for one final time. As you surely know by now, we have live captioning available in 7 different languages for this session, and that is available via our event app. And we would love, as always, for you to rate this session. You can do so by adding this session to your conference agenda, giving us a rating out of 5, and then adding any additional feedback. So, with that, allow me to take a seat alongside you all. Thank you for joining me up here on stage. I would like for each of you to introduce yourselves briefly, who you are, what you do, your roles and responsibilities in your respective programs, and also share with us the size and scale of your programs. So perhaps, Tarun, we'll start with you and we'll work our way across. Please.
Am I audible? Yeah. Thank you very much. My name is Tarun Kumar, and I'm responsible for leading travel program in APAC region, and this function sits into global procurement organizations when it comes to SAP. Along with my responsibility for the travel management in the region, I am also responsible for global initiatives for productivity and global technology initiatives in travel. So that's what I do and who I am. Little bit diverse from the perspective of travel industry. So I am not from this industry from legacy perspective, but now 12 years. Basically, I am an electronics engineers and I have done masters in business operations. So that makes me a little diverse from travel industry. And size of travel program, our global program sits now around 600 million euros, and might be 25% comes from APAC.
So a significant amount.
But from complexity perspective, it is much more than 25%. So share of complexity is maybe around 70 to 80%. But yes,
we'll get into that later.
But from spend perspective, yes, around 20 to 25% comes from my region. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Catherine.
Yes. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine Rutumban from Emerson. So I manage the end-to-end hotel program of the company on a global scale. My main responsibility is, of course, making sure that we deliver the right value to our travelers. At the same time, providing measurable savings to the organization. A key part of my responsibility is also making sure that I balance the global program consistency together with the local market dynamics across the globe. And yeah, our program size, so we have 22,000 travelers globally. And in terms of hotel, we have around 40 million US dollars in spend. So for overall travel, that will be more than 100 million in spend. So yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I am truly honored to be part of this group of this discussion. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Catherine. And Rim, you are here on behalf of your colleague Fei Wang, who couldn't join us today, but we're so pleased to be graced by your presence. Tell us about what you do at Philips.
Thank you so much for having me. I am Rim Abdelwahed. I am the category leader for travel and expenses at a global level for Philips. And I am replacing Fei Wang, who has left the company for a better opportunity for her at a global level. Thank you so much for having us and for the award of that group. My focus is to put in place the new procurement strategy for travel and expenses within our organization, which is part of our indirect procurement transformation at Philips. And travel has been a new category for me that I have been working on at a global level for 3 years now, where I have learned a lot on the travel industry and how it works. And I was able also to bring a lot of insights within the organization. Our travel program is around 150 plus million. We have an average of 400,000 transaction per year, which brings the operation side of it to quite of an intense level. And it's quite complex. And we're trying to make it as simple as possible for our internal travelers.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. So each of our travel buyer finalists this year have faced a problem or a challenge in their program that really called for innovative thinking. And these are very common challenges related to payment processes, data fragmentation, online booking adoption, all of the wonderful things that we've been talking about these last few days. But for me and for our judges this year, what set these three buyers apart was the very unique and distinct ways they approached these challenges, which we will now share with you all. And it will require some storytelling. So before we dive in, I would like to remind you all that we do have Slido available during this session. Please do send any questions or queries you have for any of our panelists through. I will be monitoring on my mobile device here, and I will check on that throughout the session. So please, any questions, send them on through. So let's begin without any further ado. I would like for each of you, if you can, to describe the particular challenge that you were trying to solve, how you went about doing it, so the journey, and if you faced any roadblocks along the way, how you overcame them. So Tarun, if we can, I'd like to start with you and once again work our way back. So tell us about the challenge you were trying to solve for SAP here in APAC.
Sure. So at the offset, the problem was, of course, fragmentation between the global standards and the local realities.
Mm-hmm.
And how global programs are set up and how employees consume them, or in fact not able to consume them. So when it comes to my region, China and India is almost 70% of my employee base.
Mm-hmm.
And these two countries are the one which are most digitized now. But still, when I saw my program around 1.5 years back, we were completely offline in China.
In China?
100% offline when it comes to air, and we were 100% hotel spend was not going through channel.
Right. So there was some leakage there.
It is zero. Similarly, when it comes to India, which is predominantly a LCC market, around 70 to 80% of air segments comes from LCC. Now again, tool was there, implemented since years, but we were sitting around maybe 2% of adaptation when it comes to air. And again, hotel is 100% outside channel. So although the reasons of these fragmentations were very different in China and India, but the consequence is same always. Means we were sitting on the risk, compliance risk, we don't have visibility, we don't have control, and we don't know where are our employees. And again, when we see solution, it was very different. India was very simple solution because we just changed the content provider.
Okay.
So when it comes to the LCC content, the standard global approach is we have one standard content provider for all LCC across globe, but that doesn't work in India. And by simply changing the content provider, we could have that increased our adaptation. As of today, my 90% of air is going through online. In a country like India, my 90% air bookings is happening on tool, on online bookings.
So that was a relatively easy fix, just a simple change in provider.
Was very little fix.
But there was some change management that was required. Talk us through that with relation to the India market, and then we'll talk about China.
Yeah. So look, in India, the only challenge is from the perspective of employees, they were so used for so many years to approach, to call or drop a mail and then keep on following. So it was more like a behavioral change aspect in India, and and the friction from employees always that change management is a little difficult actually. So from that perspective, the collaboration with the TMCs that works very well, because when you bring them as your business partners on the table, not as a downstream vendors, and they are the part of solution, amazing things happen. So it was a very easy solution for India, but as you said, that China solution or China problem itself is very difficult from the regulatory perspective, because the global standard tool cannot be implemented in its standard way because of the local regulations, and we have to work with different solutions, almost 4 to 5 different solutions that was integrated at the API level, and that worked seamlessly end to end from sourcing to expense, so that employee will not feel that there is any change from the process perspective. From them, it is just like seamless process that is happening from request to expense.
So, from the traveler perspective, did they see much difference on the front end of the tool?
Okay, so at one point they have to make a shift, but from the complete process perspective, they have to start within our ecosystem of online booking tools
Yep.
from the Konka. I can word because of course Konka is
It's
a
your
word,
product, yeah.
yes. So they have to start in Konka and they have to end in Konka from the expense perspective.
Okay.
And with this whole ecosystems, now we have local content provider that is controlled and regulated by government in China, and then we have local online solution from our TMC, which are integrated at the API level. So employee started from request. Request goes to content provider. From content provider, an approved request information comes to OBT. Now at this point of time, employee has to log in, and that again is SSO login. So he has not to do anything. He has to just click, and it's SSO login. HR profile coming directly from HR systems to the OBT, and once he log into the systems and approved informations for the segment level, whether it is air segment, whether it's a hotel segment, what is the total cost, what can be approved, what cannot be approved, that information comes from the content provider to the OBT, and they can raise a request or they can book online over there.
Okay.
From here, automatically invoice get generated. That invoice is transferred back to the Konka in the employee's profile, and then when we were doing such an integration, and EFIPO and VAT regulations just hit in the market that time in the China. So we thought that why don't we even integrate the EFIPO over there, and then we integrate EFIPO solution also at that point of time, so that
Does everyone here know what eFAPIAO is? Because now we started talking about India, and now you've started to delve into the solution that was co-created in China. Everyone here know eFAPIAO, the Chinese tax refund. Perhaps, Tarun, you can explain it far better than I can.
Okay, so now most of the organizations always claim the tax credit back, and in China, to get that tax credit out of the business expense that you are spending on the business or travel, you can take the tax credit back. So it is a money for any organization that is lying with the government and the taxation authority. Now claiming that money back, there is a very strict regulations they have come, and each type of service has a different VAT codes, and that VAT code has to be read from the receipts. And eFAPIO is a process that you can automatically you can read the tax codes and from the service perspective, and then your tax teams can easily generate a report and can get that tax offset back. So this is I would say that the money lying on the table, but you have to do something to collect that money back from the government.
Yes. You mentioned something earlier around your TMC being a partner, not a supplier, and I think that's really key in your case. We can share who your TMC is.
Of course, it is in service. It is in public domain actually. BCD is our
So
global
SAP
partner.
is working with BCD, and you co-created a solution in China to really enable that complete booking and expense workflow in the China market, and you were the first client to do so, correct?
I would say it is first of its type when you talk about the complete integration, and of course it is co-created from the scratch, of course with the partners, and that can it works so well that our partners have re-implemented that with their own other clients
With
actually,
others, yes.
and
So
we,
it's
we have not to
booking,
stop that actually.
it's booking, it's a travel request, booking, and expense all in one workflow.
Yeah.
Which for those of you in the room who also operate in China, you would understand that that is no mean feat. So any questions you have for Tarun, please send them on through. Thank you, Tarun, for describing some of your challenges and how you went about that. Catherine, talk us through your journey, your problem, how you went about solving it.
Yes, of course. So, for our company, so the biggest challenge that we have, and I know a lot of travel buyers can relate, is that we have fragmented data reporting coming from different supplier sources, the TMCs, our hotel partners, credit card spend, and all that. So recognizing this gap, it's kind of a challenge for us to assess the true program performance of our hotels, because we have to look at different angles. And so I have this vision to consolidate or integrate everything, all of those reportings, into one single source of truth, so that you don't have to jump from one supplier report to another and to another. So what I did is I worked on this manually at first, and if you can only imagine the time that I have spent here. And after doing so, I presented it to the leaders. But the first time I presented it, there's a roadblock, so it wasn't approved at first. The main reason is that all of our suppliers are already have this reporting structure.
So it wasn't approved internally.
Internally,
You received some
yes.
internal pushback.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. There's an internal pushback. So what I did is I did some refinement of the report, and then I partner with my colleague who is a Power BI expert, and we after integrating all of these reports coming from different partners, we have transformed them into an automated solution into Power BI. And it's funny because I was talking to suppliers yesterday, and one thing in common that I heard from them is that they're also using the Power BI, and that's the one that they are presenting to to the clients, to the travel buyers. So it's kind of a confirmation on our side that we are at par with the industry with that reporting strategy. So the next time I presented this, it was then I highlighted the importance of having this integration and transformation. And so also I have to highlight to the leaders that this supports the broader goals of the organization, and how it will help not only me as the one handling the program, but on a global scale of the organization. And then it was approved to move forward.
Wonderful. So with that single source of truth that you mentioned, you can now oversee all of that spend, well, most of it, and now optimize your hotel program for additional savings. Wonderful. Thank you, Catherine. Rim, now I know Philips was also looking to solve a challenge in the China market. Talk us through your particular challenge and that journey towards a solution.
So before our challenge, it actually started with Philips' vision: better care for more people. And when we have the care word, it triggered in China a thinking of how can we bring that care to our travelers. We have noticed in China that there is a lot of manual interfaces and interactions that happens through the travel program. And our head of finance locally came to procurement and enabled us to think creatively with our partner to bring a solution in place that helped them bring efficiency for the travelers and for the finance operational team that is doing all the expense background for the company. And that also meant more transparency and more compliance. With that in mind, a work session was created, a work group was created between finance, legal, and people function, HR, where they came together and creatively thought, we will keep in mind the global framework that we have for travel, but we also need to be realistic on our local situation and try to come with a solution that helps us perform within that global framework. And that's how our company billing initiative was created, with then the partnership of our partners, our TMC in the lead, followed by two other partners that helped us really bring an automated solution for the travelers, which reduced drastically our claims and brought all the transparency and compliance needed.
So this is a digital transformation of your travel and expense processes, and of course that
Exactly.
included Yifapiao as well in
Exactly.
China. I think for me, and I know this is something Rim, you and I have discussed earlier, there is an additional element of innovation in the changes that you and Faye have been able to bring in China, and that is the integration of consumer apps.
Yes.
Could you perhaps talk us through that process
Yes.
and how Philips is contracting with those consumer apps as part of your corporate travel program?
So this is, again, very specific to the Chinese market, where we started saying, okay, we want the company billing not to be just focusing on air and on rail and taxi. We want it to be more expansive to all the other services that we have within our travel program, like hotels, meals, and other types of transformation that are part of the travel program. And that's how we went to the market, and we're like, okay, let's be creative. Why not include Meituan, who is one of the biggest player in China in the meal industry and the F&B world, and see how we can come together to a solution that is digitalized, so that we can also in that area bring the efficiency required and open the door for more content for our travelers. And that's how the digitalization of a broader scope came in light.
So we have, Philips now has 3 apps.
Yes.
Your TMC powered app for hotel, air, rail, I believe.
Yes, yes.
And then you have the Meituan
Meituan app.
for meals.
Yes.
And is it
Ali, Ding Dang Ali. I
Ding
hope
Dang
I'm
Ali
pronouncing
for
it
car
right.
rental? Yes,
For
wonderful.
car rental and taxis, yes.
Was there any change management required around integrating the apps, ensuring your travelers were using them correctly, ensuring that use aligned with your broader travel policy? Could you talk us through some of that?
That's a very good question. I have to admit that the change management needed to be at a global level, because when the Faye came to me and to our global business processes with that idea at the beginning, we're like, why again something specific to a market? How can this work with our global framework? We want to move away from something that's unique and have more standardization. Why are we adding that complexity? And that the team in China did a great job in explaining to us how it's very important from a global level that you listen to the needs of the market. Because the reality is that the travelers didn't need much of change management. They all jumped into the solution because it helped them not spend time in the claims anymore.
And they were rather, your travelers in China, I would imagine, quite mobile first anyway.
Exactly. They have their phones with them all the time. They are super happy not to have to go through the expense process and have to keep with them that paper or digital solution with them to do the expenses. They were really looking forward. There was a huge appetite for it. And add on top of it that we had the sponsorship of the head of finance in the market. So he also was really keen on ensuring that his team have the bandwidth to focus on more strategic elements than the operation manual task that they used to do in the past.
Yeah. Fantastic. I have a follow-up question for both Rim and Tarun. Given that you each created a localized solution for China, but you both operate very global programs. So my question is, and Tarun, I'd like to start with you, how did you integrate the local tools in China? And then how did you ensure that they also played with your global program? And how were you able to level up that local tool with your global overarching program and policy?
Okay, as mentioned that when it comes to the integration perspective, it was API level integration what we have done for all the 4 different solutions that integrate into one end-to-end solution. So as we start from our own ecosystems and ends on our own ecosystem, so complete data serviceability and control stays within our global framework. So there is no change from the perspective of even the policies and all those things, whatever governance and policies we have from our global travel policy perspectives, same has been recreated in the local online booking tool, what I will say. So this is, I would like to say that now there is no single exception that is there for China. So it's almost like a global process, and they are just matching up with the global things, actually global standard policy. The only thing is that they are not making booking in our tool. They are making booking in service providers tool.
Yes.
Except that there is no change from the rate caps perspective, from the policy perspective, what is in policy, what is not in policy. That everything you will see, look and feel wise almost same as
That
in
still
our
carries
own tool.
across.
That's it.
Okay, fantastic. Rim, could you share with, I know you began to touch on it just now, but how did you level up the solution in China, ensure that it was in line with your global program?
So what we needed to make sure of when we were implementing the solution is that our global policy and our global framework will be respected. Even if it's a local flavored approach, it is still within the framework of our global policy and ensuring that our safeguards are in place with the new partners that we contracted with. And because we are still working with our TMC locally, so there is no change on that front, and it's our global TMC. There weren't really a change in the process itself of the booking. So everything is following our global ways of work. Nothing is different from that perspective. It's very specific and very similar. It's just to ensure that we have the right safeguards and the right processes implemented while we added those apps to the program. So it is part of the global program.
Yep.
Yes, it has its unique flavor for China,
Unique tools.
but at the same time, it's still following the same global framework. So if one of our employees in China is reallocated to the Netherlands, for example, he won't feel a difference in the way of work and the way of booking. And
Nice.
same for us. If we're asking for any global data and want to have anything specific to China, it is integrated to our global data background so that
So
we can
front
have.
and back end,
Exactly,
there's
exactly.
consistency across the program.
Exactly. And we're avoiding any manual interaction, so we're really making sure it's integrated.
Wonderful. I want to move on now to talk about some of the results you've seen after affecting these changes and how you're measuring success. Before I do, however, I do have a question for Tarun from the audience, and it is, are you using Concur Travel integrated into expense for China? Does it also capture domestic China content? So perhaps we could talk in just greater detail exactly how that connection and integration is working.
The answer is yes, short answer. And if you want to want a more detailed explanation, so the content is coming from Travel Sky, and that is the only service provider or content providers that can give for China
For
perspective.
China.
Now, how the workflow start? Employee need to start in Concur request, and we have make little change from our standard request process, and they have to be a little bit more in details from the segment perspective. They have to provide the all information for air and hotel. Now, depending on that information, this complete request goes to Travel Sky, and we have integration at product level between Travel Sky and Concur. Once it is approved from the manager, all this informations hit back to our the OBT, and whether it is approved and and what is approved. Based on that information, employee can book over there.
And the
whatever he wants.
OBT is TripSource China, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
But it's trips of China, but it's a little bit again changed and amended based on our requirement. But not much from the technology perspective, but what we want to show to our employees, what messaging we want to do, so that it can have a almost same look and feel and constraints and from the policy perspective, whatever we show globally.
Mm.
From that perspective,
Yes.
it is changed. Once employee book their trips, again receipts and all that information flows back now to Concur Expense. And again, all this data flow happens live. So there is no lag. The moment I will raise the request, it is approved. It comes back to my partner's OBT, and employee can start booking over that.
Yes.
Once they generate the invoice, it goes back immediately to the Concur Expense. The only thing is that they cannot create the expense report until unless they are check out from the hotels, because only after that they are allowed to raise the expense report. All this information is available on the expense tool. And again, because of automations and use of little bit AI, almost expense report is ready. So they have to just check different informations, data is correct, and they have to just submit, of course, with the integration of eFactor. From that perspective, at one point of time, employee will see that he has to log into a different process or different tool. Other than that, there is no fragmentation or no change from the look and feel perspective. Also, it is always Concur.
So
That's
similar to the solution for Philips, there was that kind of global continuity on the front end. And I think just to underline in answer to this question, the innovation is really the fact that this was the very first instance of integration with Concur Expense in China. So the buyer who asked that question, I'm sure you can approach Tarun later on if you have any further details. But any additional questions? I can see some more coming through. Several more, in fact. Let's address some of them now before we dive into the results. There's one here for you, Catherine. What are the key challenges you came across when asking for discounts from suppliers? And were there some hotel suppliers that were more difficult to deal with than others? So now that you have your single source of truth, how are you now approaching those relationships, and any issues there?
Well, there are some, resistance along the way, definitely, because we have more visibility of the data, and it's not fragmented anymore. In terms of rate negotiations and all that, for me, my role as the gatekeeper, I have to keep the balance between, our local stakeholders, our hotel partners, and of course, the leadership. So I cannot just say, okay, the hotel wants this, and then I'll just give it, approve them. I have to keep the balance. So I do have those challenges. I have experiences that, but then it all boils down to the relationship that we have with our partners. We do not treat them as just like suppliers. We have built this partnership for the longest time already, and we have come up with an understanding and agree with a certain rate that a win-win for the both of us.
Absolutely, yes. And that is a common thread, I feel, across all three of your programs, that partnership, that co-creation with your partners rather than suppliers. Rim, there are a few questions here for you, if I may. Speaking about integration, how do you integrate data from different sources into a unique report? Is it the TMC report?
No, it's not the TMC report. It's still an internal report that we have created internally at Philips to make sure that it brings all the different sources that we have. Because even if we have a global program and we have one global partner for 53 of our markets, there is some of them for some specific reasons that are outside of that program where we need to ensure we still have visibility. So we would love to have one global report from our TMC, but due to our complexity, that was not possible. So because we have our internal solution, it makes it easier for us to integrate all the different data channels that we have so that our leadership can have the targeted information they need to manage their travel better.
Great. I'd like to stick with you if I can, now that we're going to delve into the results. How are you measuring the success of the changes you've put in place in China?
So this one was quite interesting for me at a global level because our focus, I thought, would be savings, right? Mm-hmm. Procurement. But the reality is that our head of finance said, no, we will focus on saving, yes, But we want to ensure that we're really bringing the efficiency for the traveler and for anyone who is working on our travel process in China. And we ensure that everything is really working. And I can confirm that today everything is working and everything is digitalized. So there is no more any local intervention, manual intervention for the finance team or for the travelers. And that for us was at that level more than enough. Afterwards, the saving came because we are getting so much more visibility, especially in the F&B environment, and we're getting so much more potential savings from that we weren't aware of. That is really bringing the additional saving to it. And of course, on top of it, the tax money that is on the table, like Tarun just mentioned, that now we can collect easily because of all this information. So the compliance level increased, the data transparency increased, and it became a total digitalized program in the market as requested.
And there's also the hotel attachment rates increasing, given that
Yes.
the tool was easier to
Yes.
use, the expense was seamless, and so
Yeah.
everyone was. There's a greater adoption of the policy,
Yes.
and once again, that feeds into that reporting oversight,
Yes.
cost savings that you can track. Wonderful.
Indeed.
How many hotel suppliers do you have in China, just so we understand the scale?
In China specifically, I think we have 100, but I need to reconfirm the number. I have to
Okay.
admit in my head, I know that globally we have 400 supplier, but all the content is open for our traveler.
A significant chunk
Yeah.
of the hotel
Yeah, yeah,
program.
yeah.
Okay, fantastic. That just helps everyone here understand the scale.
Yeah.
Catherine, talk us through some of your success metrics.
Thank you. So when we launched this dashboard, we have around 85% of efficiency gains. So coming from 56% of manual hours, we have saved around 48 hours. We freed up 48 hours of time being spent on that single source of truth, and for us to have more focus on the higher value task. That's one. Aside from the efficiency gains, so we also have the cost savings by utilizing our internal resources without purchasing this type of reporting structure to other suppliers. We have built in our own internal analytics that we can compare and benchmark together with the other reportings that we have outside. And I know this can be attested by our hotel partners. When we launched the dashboard, and we use that as our way of sourcing hotels. This Q1, they have seen an improvement in terms of program rate adoption, compliance in our program. So yeah, that's what it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Catherine. Tarun, how are you measuring success across SAP, and what results have you been able to kind of track?
Okay, so in fact, the problem itself is not one single problem and not one single solution. It was a complete program issue.
A series
Yes,
of
yes.
metrics that
So,
you're now looking
yes,
at.
and that's why there should be a matrix of KPI. So, and that starts from adaptation, goes to compliance, goes to efficiency, and then finally comes the financial impact. And of course, adaptation is the most important and critical because it drives all other three. If there is no adaptation, then forget. There is no outcome. So from the adaptation perspective, as I mentioned earlier, that now in a market like India, we are almost 90% on our online booking tool. All hotel spend is going through our booking channels.
That's a wonderful
So that is the adaptation
point
part.
of success, yeah.
And when there is adaptation and everything is going through channel, then there is a compliance comes. It hits the compliance. Now you know that what is happening to your program. Then it comes the efficiency because now employees are not wasting their time by manually creating expense reports, or they are just going here and there and booking their travel. And then the last is financial impact. And I would say just by making from offline to online, I just measure for the first 6 months in India, and my average ticket price reduced by 3%.
Purely by that uptick in online adoption.
Yes. And I was really amazed that how it can happen, that average ticket price can reduce just by online adaptation, because employees will book on time and they have control actually and they have visibility. My service cost reduced by 30% between offline and online.
30%. Okay, I just wanted to underline that.
And if I just measure for the first 6 months and just for India, it was almost 100k US dollars just for the average ticket price reduction. And after that, I have stopped calculating.
Are you looking at any particular or any different metrics in China?
Again, I believe the metrics will remain same.
Okay.
It's adaptation. It's about risk. Now compliance is definitely taking at first place, and again cost efficiency because now everything is in employees' hand, and employees are not wasting their time on generating expense reports offline and all those things.
Sure, yes. Rim, I have another question for you from the audience. How did you address China's stringent privacy laws? Was that a roadblock or issue for you?
That's why we brought on our legal team with us in all the conversation
we
with
go.
our partners. So they are the experts, and they were able to go into those conversations with our partners to ensure that everything is done in the local market regulation required. And because we've chosen to partner up with local partners, it made the process easier. I think if we would have decided to have, instead of Meituan, someone external of China, it would have been a different
They
conversation.
can only operate according to those laws.
Exactly. So it made the process much easier and ensure you have your legal team sitting with you. We have a very strong partnership with them, and we are always saying procurement are not the legal experts. So we expect them, and they are taking that role very seriously, to sit on the table with us and have the right conversation with our partners.
Fantastic. We keep referring to the importance of partnerships and co-creation, but I want now to touch on how you engaged internally with some of your stakeholders, be it leadership or your travelers, when you were looking to make these changes. How did you each gain buy-in? I know, Catherine, you've touched on this already, but perhaps we can go into a bit more detail. What business case did you present to your leadership, and how did you each use your respective influence to bring about these changes? So perhaps, Tarun, I'll start once again with you and we'll work our way across.
So again, I would say that for all such transformations, there are different sets of audience actually. One is senior leadership. Second is your stakeholders of different functions, which doesn't reports into travel, but you cannot move ahead without them.
Yeah, good point.
And then the last one comes travelers, without whom or who are the center of everything actually. So there are three different audience, and when it comes to discussion with senior leadership, I was always talking about the status quo and the risk of that situation. I was talking about the compliance part and how we are sitting on a risk because we cannot even know and we cannot even fulfill our duty of care. And third part is integration to our global standard process and back into the global ERP. So I gave them confidence that whatever we are trying to do, first thing that will convert program more compliant, more risk free, and then we have complete visibility and control, and everything flows back to our financial system, to ERP. That was how leadership come on the table. When it comes to internal stakeholders of different functions, so in this complete solutions, I believe there are almost 6 to 7 different functions were involved. It was HR, it was taxation, it was legal, it was data protection, it was IT security, it was process management. Maybe I'm forgetting a couple of them. Maybe now
Several. Let's just say several.
and now if you will talk to them and you will say that okay, you are solving a travel problem, that is not their KPI. Why they will come on the table?
Yeah.
So you have to make them believe that they are not improving travel program, but they are solving a business problem.
Correct.
And they are the part of solutions. You have to engage them very early, and they have to be the part of solutions. You have to understand constants in their functions, and somehow being a business operations guy, I understand at least end to end how data flows and what is the constants in every function. So I can ask, I can challenge their questions that why. So it helped me a little bit. And once they are on the table quite early, and they know that they are not doing anything for travel, they are solving business problem. They are on board. Third and last, travelers. So here it comes. I would say that everyone wants to do, uh, everyone wants to be compliant, or they don't want to do intentionally bad things. The only thing is the is the uh, frictions that why the current design or is not allowing them to do that
Sure.
actually.
Yeah.
So it is more about the behavioral change, and the very good thing that how it works, that we have not tried to enforce the policy, but we were trying to reduce the frictions from
So
them.
was that in the messaging that you went out
That's
to
right.
your travelers with?
That's
we've,
right.
we've got a new
That's-
tool.
yes.
It's going to make your life easier.
Communication has to be at right place and right time. So
What's the right place for these
okay,
communications?
so I would say that every communication has to be done at a time when someone is acting for that. So when I am booking something and I want my employees not to book a ICE car, I want to book them a EV car. So when and how I should communicate? I have to communicate when they are making a booking at that time. There should be a pop-up message, or there should be something so that they are aware that please be compliant. You are supposed to book a EV car. That type of communication has to be at the action point.
Okay.
If you'll keep on sending hundreds of mails to the employees, it doesn't bother at all.
No one will read the
Doesn't
email.
bother at all. Similarly, it was more about our multilingual travel interaction center. We have centralized travel interaction center. That is the first team to go for any travel and expense related issues. We have live enablement sessions, multiples, and after that everything falls in place actually. Once they, and again this is the this type of things happens with the marketing by mouth. If one employee is doing something and he liked it, he will tell four others actually.
That's right.
And that really matters actually. If I will tell, okay, this process sucks, I don't want to do it again,
Sure.
then even who has not tried it, they will not do it, they will not try it.
Understood.
But on the contrary, if I will say, okay, this is a new process and it's working so beautifully, I am saving my time, then 10 others will try. And that is a chain reaction actually.
Yeah. Catherine, you mentioned earlier that when you first presented your solution, you got some internal pushback.
Yeah.
How did you overcome that? What was your approach to building a business case the second time?
The second time around. Yeah. So I've learned that, in every action that you do, and this is very important, you have to link every action to the business outcomes, because, leadership is looking at a broader goal, broader outcome, not just for a single view, but on a global scale. How can this initiative, this innovation, help us towards our business? So I provided insights. It gives deeper insights, recommendations, and so that's at the time that they were able to, approve this innovative project. That's for the leadership buy-in. And in terms for internal stakeholders, and I am proud of this because since we already have this deeper insights that we have this local markets that has been operating on a local scale, and with just proper communication and educating our local offices, we were able to migrate them into the global program.
Fantastic. And where are your local offices based?
We have a lot actually,
Okay.
but for this one, it's specific in Middle East area.
Middle East.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Rim, over to you. How did you use your influence? How did you engage internal stakeholders, perhaps some of those financial stakeholders in China? How did you get them on board with these payment process innovations?
The great, I think, approach that the local team took from procurement, P2P, and finance is that they all had a very strong storytelling that was going into the same direction when they started moving into that innovative approach. And when they went to their local leadership, they were able to get the right sponsorship up to the head of finance of the market, who became an advocate of the solution at a global level. So even when the team came to me and were presenting a solution that at the beginning wasn't really clear from a global point of view if it would make sense, they had such a strong business case already that they all worked on and were aligned, that were explaining to us how not only they were following the company vision, which is better care for more people, and they put our people in the centric, so it meant making our employees' life in China easier and more efficient, which is part of our culture. They showed the financial benefit, and they showed how it will resolve the compliance issues that they were facing locally, and they are all aligned into it. And I think that alignment made it very hard globally to stop them.
Yeah.
They were really one force going into that program together. And then they partner up with our partners locally and globally with our TMC in such an innovative and strong way that made it very, very, very hard for anyone to stop that momentum.
Yeah, so getting that internal buy-in
At
from
the
other
beginning.
stakeholders really
At the
helped.
beginning, yeah.
Fantastic. There is one follow-up question for you, Rim, with regards to your payment process transformation. Which form of payment do you use across your 3 apps in China? How do you manage the finance controls?
So the form of can you repeat
Form
the
of
question?
payment across the 3 apps.
The form of payment across the 3 apps is a digital solution. So everything is interconnected together. We receive a digital reconciliation form that goes to the P2P team directly, and then it creates that payment optimization.
So it's centralized.
It's centralized locally.
Travelers use their own
Application, they do the
Application.
booking, and then it's all automated and digitalized monthly.
Okay. Do they have to use a corporate card, personal
No.
card?
It's company
completely
billing
digital
Paid. It's paid directly to
from the
partner.
company.
They don't do anything
Yeah.
themselves.
Yes. And that again is the innovation.
It is, and I have to say, it's not global. You would be surprised. You would think that globally, as a company as Philips, we have that company billing approach, but no. And that was a topic that was challenged from our previous CFO, global CFO, because he was not really in favor of global company billing. But with what China did and how they proved that it's working, we are now considering it at a global level. So
I can't believe we only now have a few minutes left. So to wrap up, I would like each of you very briefly reflecting on the program transformation that you've each put in place, the change management involved. Share with us the biggest lesson that you've learned, what's next in your program, and does AI feature on your roadmap? That was a question I had. That's also a question that's come through from the audience. So, biggest lesson, what's next? AI. I'm going to start with you, Rim, and I'm going to go back.
So the biggest lesson is don't be afraid of sharing your innovative at a regional or local level. Be vocal. You know better your market, you know better your region, and that's why you're here. And we count on you at a global level to share those ideas. It takes time. It requires a lot of change management. It requires a lot of preparation locally and regionally. But in the end, you can lead a global transformation with that creative idea. Take the space and really go through with it. This is what we have heard. Really take your space and be vocal about your initiative and about your business needs. In APAC specifically, they are different. And sometimes globally, we overlook that. So please be vocal with your initiative. As for AI, and what's next? So what's next is, as I've said, we are trying to duplicate this at a global level, which I think is a really big success.
Very exciting.
And locally, they want to also increase the scope to per diem too. So we're investigating how we can do that. Yes, more to share about it hopefully
Indeed.
next year. And AI is part of our journey. So we're counting here on our partners globally to really show us how this will bring efficiency in our travel program.
Great, thank you. And I love your point about taking up the space. Wonderful. Catherine, what's next? Your lesson, what's next? AI.
So the lesson that I've learned is that it's all gonna be worth it. You benchmark among your industry peers. You network. And this business travel show is one good way to start to network with the industry peers to see what's happening on their program, what works and what does not. And then at the same time, you can, when you go back to the office, you can assess if those key takeaways that you had would really work within the requirement of your program. So I echo Rim. You voice it out. Do not be afraid. Even if you get a rejection the first time, you just try. It will all be worth it. So that's the lesson I have learned. What's the next? The AI.
What's next in your
Oh, yeah, okay.
program? Any future innovations you're looking to?
Yes.
And then is AI part of that?
Yeah. So the next step with this innovation is that we are currently studying the methodologies that we have in place. Let's say, for example, like how does the industry perceive cost savings versus cost avoidance? Those kind of stuff. Those methodologies, and at the same time, how are we able to integrate AI in terms of this dashboard reporting? And the good thing about AI is that our company embraced AI, that we have formed our dedicated AI team to support the processes, projects across the globe to make sure that AI is being used responsibly.
So looking to apply AI to that
Yes.
data analysis.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Tarun, the same 3 points from you.
I would say don't push global standards without knowing local realities. That's the first and most important thing. Something can work somewhere, but the same thing cannot work other part of the globe. The second thing, consider local constraints as input, not as exceptions. They are input to the program.
I like that.
And I would say people tend to do right things when systems are designed for that. These three things, I believe that's the biggest learning for me.
Yeah.
Because, after doing right things within quarters, I have seen a transformation in both the markets, which didn't happen for years. Now, future, we know that now it's a proven and scalable model. There are few more markets in APAC region which are semi-regulated or semi-controlled, and I'm planning to try same thing in those markets. Of course, AI is there on the roadmap for every organizations. Being technology company, it is there. I will not discuss from the product perspective because I'm not allowed. But yes, I can.
But something's brewing.
But I can speak from the program perspective, from travel program perspective. We have already integrated AI in our booking process from request to expense. So AI can help creating employees request automatically. It can also help them in creating booking, and expense report is almost automated actually. So that is there. But of course, don't embrace AI just for the sake of because everyone is doing it. Has to improve something in your program. It has to
It has
make
to
your
solve a
employees
problem.
it has to make your employees life easier. It should increase the efficiency, or it should do something actually. Just because that okay, everyone is doing AI doesn't make sense that I should also do AI.
Indeed. Tarun, Catherine, Rim, thank you so very much for joining me on stage. I
Thank
hope you
you.
all found it enjoyable. Thank you for sharing your stories with us. Please do share your feedback. We would love to hear from you. Thank you. I'd now like to pass the mic over to my colleague, Jen Bankard.
So we are going to do a very, very quick set change. Do you have the clicker? So if I could get my colleagues to give me a couple sets of hands so we can clear this stage quickly. So that we begin our awards presentation. If I can have the face-off judges as well as our face-off participants join us near the front of the knowledge arena so that you are front and center for our announcements. Just all of it. All right, so do I have Adeline and Terrence? And then we need David and Courtney and Anna and Kit and Hugh. If you want to just join us near the front, grab a seat. All right, I see Terrence. Do we have Adeline? Let's see. If anyone happens to have eyes on Adeline Kang. Oh. So while we're on the hunt for one of our judges, just a few remarks. First of all, again, thank you all for joining us for the past 2 days. I hope it's been great in terms of networking and learning and gaining new insights. You will shortly be receiving an email to complete our post-event survey. I would certainly encourage all of you to do that because your feedback is so helpful to our entire team. Everything from the hosted buyer program, obviously exhibitors, appointments, the conference program, just show logistics in general. And you will also then receive, as part of that survey, a link to access the slides for the Innovation Face-Off presentation, Beth's AI presentation earlier today, and for those of you who might have joined the BTN Academy session yesterday. We did also record all of the Face-Off presentations, so we will be creating, over just the next week or so, an on-demand portal. And we'll share that link out to all of you. And so you can also pass that along to colleagues. So if there was a presentation that particularly caught your interest and one of your colleagues who wasn't here, you might want to share that information, just feel free to share that around. And that will be up for the next year. Nothing? All right. All right. So I have vamped long enough. Welcome to the final session of this year's, business travel show. Perhaps it's the most exciting one because this is where we announce all of our winners. We're going to begin with the winners of the Business Travel Innovation Face-Off, and so I'd like to invite Beth and Terrence back up to the stage, and they are going to share just some very, very brief commentary on each of our presentations in the same order that you presented. I'm going to hand the mic to you.
Thank you so much. And I am going to review some of the competitors, and Terrence has a handful that he will also review. So I don't know why I have my phone here, so I'm going to... Do you mind if I...
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so in the order of presentation, and you may have to remind me a little bit. Yeah, we got that. All right, first one, China Smart Mice. We loved the fact that we were seeing an AI-powered digital meeting solution for China, something that we think is really important in this market and is addressing a lot of pain points. Some of us were a little bit confused about the presentation itself in terms of the analogy with the iPhone, and we would have liked to have seen more commentary on the actual mechanics of the tool and a little bit less on the marketing. We liked the price assurance given the large meetings volume. That was a big strength of the tool. And we appreciated the ambition to grow outside of the China region. In the end, we had a few concerns and recommendations to maybe reorient the presentation itself around more mechanics of the tool. And we were also probably a little bit unsure about why so many human resources are required to support a technology solution, given the 40,000 people on the ground. And is that a scalable solution from a global perspective when you look at growing outside the China region? So that is our assessment of China Smart Mice, and thank you so much on that one. I can take FCM, but I need you. That's the order. Yes, I know. I have to find it because that was out. So let me.
Sorry, we're shifting some commentary assignments around. So thank you for your patience.
Thank you. All right. So for FCM SAM, we were really excited to see the sort of arc of innovation for SAM that we met many, many years ago, well, a decade ago at least, as one of the first mobile assistants in the space. We loved the idea of the travel disruption recovery and some of the ways that the tool moves along with the traveler throughout the end-to-end trip. We also sorry, I'm reading my notes. We also really felt that the access to the APIs that were selected to be included into the AI was really important, that there was a selection of information providers, so it wasn't just an open an open resourcing of all kinds of maybe unvetted sources for that information. And so we're looking at accuracy. We loved the integration of CIBT as one of those resource partners. One of the things that we were concerned about in terms of the presentation itself, we would have liked to have seen a little more acknowledgement of some of the limitations of the tool. And we would have liked to have had more focus on what some of the playbooks mentioned that they actually do, instead of just saying there are playbooks, to understand some of the capabilities of those playbooks and the strategies behind those playbooks. All right. Who was next? Oh, nowadays, I believe Terrence.
All right. If I may give a bit of comments or advice to nowadays. We see this is a modern mice plug and play model, which is good to transform from the traditional mice platform. You know, the flexible subscription pricing model is good. I think that it's actually offer a lot of flexibility in the market as well. We like the fact actually, you being honest, you know, because we knew that actually one platform, you know, you can't do everything, but you actually partnering with the TMC or the local provider to fulfill all the local needs. You know, that is very important, right? And you also use AI to summarize all the pricing model, put together as a proposal. One area probably looking at actually, I think yesterday pretty much focusing on sourcing. So perhaps, I'm not sure whether is it because of 7 minutes, you know. So looking for, if there's any other things that more than sourcing, we could actually learn from platform. All right.
Sorry, I'm juggling. All right, and so we also have Thrust with their Engage AI tool. One of the things we really loved about the Engage AI tool was the recognition of context and personalization in relation to influencing sustainability choices and influencing the traveler. I think that's one thing that we've tried to accomplish with AI that has been maybe not as successful yet in our attempts. And I think this personalization, I think as a group, we thought this personalization piece was a really novel and nuanced way to get that communication across. We saw, we also liked the holistic approach to the sustainability question, in that Engage AI allows for more flexibility and a blended approach to priorities. So that was a great advantage there. And finally, there was kind of a one of these aspects that was kind of cut both ways. And it was the idea that it was a tool that could overlay your program, which made it easy to implement, which was another wonderful aspect of it. But on the other hand, it also added a layer of additional messaging on top of all the other messages that you were going to be receiving as a traveler. So that was, while on the one hand, the overlay seems like a wonderful way to be able to get something easily into your program and plug it in, the additional layer of messaging was a bit of a negative for the judges. All right, I'm going to hand it to you for True Trip. Okay, perfect.
So I'm going to deliver the feedback for True Trip. So first of all, I think it was very impressive. The part that the judges were most impressed with was the approval with context. We thought that was very fit for purpose when it comes to the tool itself, because so many times there's a lot of blind approving. So that was something that we were very impressed with. Also, definitely for the SME market, this tool is fit for purpose as a mid-market player, focused kind of a tool. And areas of improvement, though, we felt that perhaps telling us the differentiator right from the beginning, because 7 minutes is a very short time. So from a presentation standpoint, letting us know right from the start, like what the value proposition is, would have strengthened our ability to understand the solution better. Also touching a little bit more around how the tool is able to help with reconciliation, and also how to actually drive costs down, is with more examples specifically, would have been more useful to help us. Yeah. Also, there was some feedback given around focusing a little bit more on how you can have a competitive advantage over the OTAs, the online travel agencies, would have also been useful for us. But all in all, a great presentation. So thank you to True Trip as well for your good work. Yeah.
All right, so thank you to Elizabeth and Adeline and Terrence for their commentary. But before we announce the top scoring contestant and the Business Travel Innovator Award, I want to turn and announce the winner of the People's Choice Award, voted on by all of you. So this year's People's Choice Award winner is Nowadays. So Anna, come on up. Okay, and now to announce this year's Business Travel Innovator Award, I'm actually going to give the microphone to Terrence. TripBiz, as our reigning winner, is going to announce this year's winner.
Sure, thank you. Very grateful to be here and my honor to present this award. I would like to first thing first just thank all the participants. I think everyone's you came here to try to offer something, to help, optimize this travel industry. And this year, FASOC award winner goes to Nowadays.
Congratulations on that.
All right. So Anna, before you leave the stage, we'll have Terrence hold your trophies for a minute. Would you like to just say a few words?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to watch the face-off yesterday. This is our first time presenting at BTS Asia, and so really appreciate all the support from the audience. It was really great getting to know some of you these past couple days.
Thanks. Congratulations again. All right. So now,
take both of your trophies and stand right there.
oh, can we do those at the end?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna do those at the
Oh,
end.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry about
That's
that.
okay.
Sorry, babe.
So I'm gonna have you all. You
We're
say
leaving. Okay.
the rest of you.
Sorry. Stagecraft.
We are organized, believe it or not. So now moving on to our final award of this year's show, our APAC Travel Buyer of the Year. And before we announce that award, which I'll have Beth do, I wanted to thank our judges who helped do the review and the scoring. This is a two-stage submission process where buyers answer a series of questions around the work they're doing in their program, their innovations, their forward thinking. And so the judges review and score those submissions, and that's how we identify our top 3 finalists that you heard from just a little while ago. And so if we could just give a round of applause to the judging panel, and for the judges who are here, if you can stand up and oh, come on, there's a few. There we go. Thank you, David. And so then just as a reminder, we had 3 incredibly strong
They were
candidates.
really good.
It was all 3 amazing stories, and hopefully you heard from them just a few minutes ago. So just to recognize them once again, Taryn Kumar from SAP Southeast, Catherine Ratumban from Emerson, and Fei Wang, who most recently was with Philips. So finalists, a round of applause. And so
It was
Beth?
a very hard judging process this
All
year,
right.
which was a wonderful process and problem to have.
It's a good
you know.
problem to have. But Beth, I will turn it over to you to announce our winner.
Okay. I'm going to be brief. You heard everyone's stories from the session just a few minutes ago. As I was saying to Jen, it was such a difficult decision this year. We went in a number of rounds after the judges did their assessments, and then Jen and Lauren and I looked at the strengths of each of these nominations. So I want to just congratulate the APAC market for producing such awesome innovations across a number of industries with these travel programs. So I want to give a round of applause to all of the finalists who were up here today. I think they were excellent. But at the end of the day, we have to choose one. And the innovator, the travel buyer of the year award for the APAC region this year goes to Taryn Kumar for his collaboration with Skyscanner and BCD Travel to create an end-to-end China solution on Concur that also impacts not only his program, but so many other potential programs in the region. So thank you so much for nominating and being a part of the process, Taryn. I will. Shake your hand.
And Taryn, would you like to say a few words?
I'm quite humble, and I'm thank you very much everyone for listening, and even to the complete judge panels. The only thing that I want to mention over here that during the whole journey, this designing this solution and the collaboration what we had with our partners, particularly with our TMC partners, that was amazing actually. So sometimes you have to go to a level that most of the travel managers just stop at a level of having collaboration with the account executives or with sales. But sometimes you have to go a little deep dive, and the partner also has to be ready that they expose their technology team, their IT teams to you, to your teams, and that what actually happened. I was discussing with their technology team, development team, almost every week, along with my team, along with my IT team and product team. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for being there for this long journey, and thanks BTS. Thank you very much.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
So with that, we have concluded this year's presentations and this year's show. And so I hope to see all of you next year back here at Marina Bay Sands, April 21st and 22nd. I hope everyone has safe travels home, whether you're local or traveling from to far away. But thank you all for being here. Take good care.